Today I am using a lot of glitters, a whole bunch of beautiful fine glitters as well as some chunkies, and I'm going to use, for the base coat, I am using Flippin' Awesome paints. I will link everything below, all the colors and the paints that I used. For this tumbler, since it's a 25 ounce shaker tumbler from the Stainless Depot company, I wanted it to be as light as possible, and I didn't want to take a chance on getting too much epoxy on the bottom and have it wobble. So I'm taping off the bottom of my tumbler, and I'm gonna try to use as little epoxy coats as possible, and the coats that I do use, I'm gonna try to make them pretty thin. I am prepping it, like I said, with the Flippin' Awesome paints, and I'm starting with a yellow and then moving up green, blue, purple, and pink in that order, and then I'm going to just ombre them all together with that same paintbrush. It doesn't matter if my colors overlap or if I accidentally get some stripes of color onto like a stripe of blue onto a light. It doesn't matter at all, because I'm going to go over it with all the glitters and they're going to ombre into each other anyway, and they'll be overlapping. So I'm just getting those paints on so I don't see any stainless steel and trying to match the glitter colors as close as possible with those paints. This first coat of epoxy I'm applying is fairly generous. It's not so thick that it's going to roll off the tumbler and fall on, to the area below it, but it's thick enough where when I drop the fine glitters for the first round and then sprinkle some chunky glitters on top, the chunky glitters still have some epoxy to stick to. So I'm starting with my fine glitters. So for the yellow, I mixed two different colors together to get the color I was looking for. And then for the green, I'm also going to mix two colors together. And then for the blues, purples, and pinks, it's all just going to be one color of the fine glitter. And then over the top of it, I'm mixing a chunky glitter that kind of has some complementary colors to the fine glitters. And so every area is going to have a little bit of fine glitter with some chunky on top. The purpose of me using the fine glitters with the chunky is that the fine glitters lay down my base color, and it has a ton of sparkle as is. So if you want to just use fine glitters, you can totally do that. But then the chunky glitters on top, some of them are opals, some of them are holographic, some of them have just intense amount of sparkles in the the bigger flakes. And so I wanted some more excitement. When I put on the Peekaboo, this is going to be a leopard print, so when I put on the Peekaboo, the little dots of the leopard are going to be very small. And so when you look through the dots to the color behind, I want that color to just be really intense. Then after each layer of epoxy, you want to make sure you take off that tape, otherwise you're going to be sorry, and that tape is going to get stuck and cured into the epoxy. Ask me how I know. So each time you're going to have to reapply that tape, and yes, it is tedious and it's a pain in the butt, but if that's the look you're going for, you just have to do it. And so you'll get kind of used to taping it off. When I remove my tape, I make sure the tumbler is spinning the opposite direction to the direction that I have to pull to get the tape off. If your tumbler is spinning the same direction, you could get your hand caught under it, which would make epoxy stick to your hand. Not only that, but you could actually damage some of the work that you just did on your tumbler if you accidentally touch it with the tape, or if your tape swipes the glitter underneath. So it's just easier if you make sure your tumbler spins in the opposite direction, and then if you just hold your hand there, the tumbler does the work and it'll pull it off for you. Then I just get a paper towel and very carefully, without hitting the rim with the glitter, I just wipe off any epoxy or glitter that kind of got trapped up there. Okay, so this is coat number 2. So that glitter has sank down into the epoxy, and it is ready fairly quickly to apply it. This is fast setting epoxy. So I think I waited just 4 hours before I applied the second coat. And this time I'm not doing a coat that was as thick as the previous coat, and I'm just gonna let this sit overnight, and the rest of my work will continue tomorrow. Okay, so now that I had 2 coats of epoxy, it's time to clean up the rim and sand to just expose a little bit of stainless around the edge. And then I am going to apply Stencil Vinyl for the first portion of the leopard pattern. So this would be the dots. So I want to apply the Stencil Vinyl because I am going to actually spray paint and apply Tack-It and glitter right over the top of the dots, and I want to make sure that I can remove those pieces easily, and Stencil Vinyl for me seems to work the best when I need to get something off of my tumbler, you know, without fighting with it too much. I found this file free in Cricut Design Space. I just took the two, the pink and the black, centered it over my template, and then I sliced each color separately, and that gave me the perfect size pattern for my tumbler. You don't have to do a template, you can just lay your spots and pick and choose where you place them, but I wanted the perfect size. This tumbler is intended to mimic a sticker that I got from PDB Creative Studios. It had a butterfly and leopard print. So I cut out a bunch of butterflies from a sticker cal sheet that I got a while ago from BAMF Custom Creations. And so I'm just kind of cutting out a few of them and putting them around the tumbler, making sure I know where the front of that tumbler is. I added that lid so I could see where the front is. And wherever I think I want to put a butterfly, I am removing those dots because I want that portion to be white. Otherwise, you won't be able to see the butterfly outline because it is a clear sticker sheet. So now I am ready to apply the Tack-It. So I'm mixing about probably a ratio of 2 to 1 Tack-It to water. And I'm going to mix that really good just to thin it out a smidge, and then put it onto my tumbler and wait for it to just feel a little bit tacky before I apply my glitter. After the Tack-It has set and ready for the glitter application, I am going to just take off the lid and just literally dump it all over the tumbler. You can save the glitter so you don't have to worry about wasting anything. So you just dump it, you cover the entire surface. This is Diamonds from Glitter Heart Co. It's a really pretty white sparkly glitter. It's one of my favorites. And then once you start rubbing it, you'll start to see the pieces of glitter fall off, and it just leaves this really pretty film of just shiny, just a really light dusting of glitter. And so you just want to keep rubbing. You can see right now, you can see the pieces that are starting to get fully burnished, and then I just want to rub and rub it until the rest of it looks like those little streaks that you just saw. So here the whole tumbler is done, and I'm just saving that glitter, dumping it back into the container, and now I am ready to remove those little peekaboo dots. And so it's going to reveal the sparkly goodness underneath, which is so exciting to see. Once all my peekaboo dots are removed, I am going to seal it with Krylon clear gloss 3 times, 3 really good coats. I'm going to give it a wait time of about 30 minutes or so in between each coat. And the reason why I'm sealing it so much is because I want to immediately apply my black leopard vinyl right over the top of the peekaboo portion, as well as the sticker cal butterfly pieces. So if I tried to put those on without sealing it first, you're still going to feel that roughness from burnishing the glitter, and that's not going to look very good, and then your vinyl won't stick very well either. So I'm going to seal it really good 3 times with the Krylon, and then go ahead and immediately apply my butterflies and my black overlays for the leopard. I was having a heck of a time getting my transfer tape to stick to my leopard spots because the vinyl that I chose is the glitter vinyl from Cricut, and it just did not stick to my transfer tape. So after becoming a little bit frustrated, I decided I was just, watch how easily this pulls off. It doesn't stick at all. I had to hand place each one of those leopard overlays, and so it took me a really long time. So rather than having you suffer through this, I went ahead and just cut out portions of it and zipped through this so you could see how I start, and then you'll see where I finish, because it took a long time. Probably, I would say it probably took a good 30 minutes to apply these black pieces, and then I also had to detail cut around my butterflies and apply those. After I got all the obvious pieces done, I just went around and I put just little black dots in between any areas that looked like they had too much white space. And so I just filled those in with the little black dots, and then I positioned my butterflies how I wanted them. Once you stick these butterflies down, it's very hard to peel them off without damaging your tumbler. So you got to really make sure that you know exactly where that butterfly is going, unless you put a coat of epoxy on it first before you apply your butterfly. See, I tried to pull that one up and I'm like, nope, that's not gonna work. So instead, I just filled in that little space with a black dot because that space was bothering me. But if you apply a coat of epoxy on your tumbler first and then you apply your sticker cal sheets, you'll be able to pull them up without, you know, pulling up your glitter. So be really careful. So I applied 3 butterflies, and I applied another coat of epoxy. So this is going to spin overnight, and then I'm going to put a saying on it, and then my tumbler might be complete, but I think I might add some more detail to it. I think I'm going to bling the butterflies. I'm undecided, so at the end of this video, if it gets blinged, you'll know I decided to do that. But it looks really pretty so far as is. After that 3rd coat of epoxy cured, I went ahead and added my vinyl lettering. So I added "Set Yourself Free" to match the words that I found on the sticker. And then I applied a 4th coat of epoxy. So this tumbler has a total of 4 coats of epoxy, so it's still fairly light, not too heavy. And I did decide to go ahead and bling it, just a little bit of color though. And these rhinestones are also from PDB Creative Studio. And so I decided just to bling the butterfly bodies. So because this tumbler already has so much color and so much sparkle and it's busy, I wanted the butterflies to contrast by being plain. As plain as I could make them, but just to add like a little color in the center so that your eyes draw to the butterflies, and that'll make them really stand out. So I'm going to try to get a really good close-up video of this tumbler so that you can really see the sparkle in those rhinestones as well. I hope that this video has encouraged you or inspired you to make something based off of a photo or a sticker or some other sort of, you know, anything else that you see that maybe you could recreate. If you do, please tag me in a post. I would love to see your work, and thank you so much. I always appreciate anybody who watches my videos. I'm new to this thing. I think I only have like 21 videos, so this is just something I'm doing for fun, and so I can you know, teach you things that I know, and hope that you learn something from me. So if you like my content, please hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And then if you turn on that bell notification, you'll find out when I post new videos, and I try to do 2 a week. So thank you so much for watching. At the end of this video, I will post any related videos on my channel.